Well, hello there, everyone, and Happy New Year to you. This is your girl, Audrey, coming in with another episode of getting some math done for your GED, your ASVAT, your Accuplacer, your TEAS test, your HESI test, any kind of test that has algebra in it. Well, we are getting ourselves started on a new year as TikTok kicked me the heck out yesterday. Then I was able to get on. I was excited, and then it kicked me out again. And then all of a sudden, I can get on my phone, but couldn't get on my computer. Then I get on the computer, couldn't get on the phone. Okay, you know what? So far that I know of, the right now we're kind of hoping that this phone thing keeps going. So you never know; it might completely kick me out altogether. But here we are. So number 22, a road map is drawn to a scale of 2 inches, which equals 3 miles. John wants to drive to a point that is 9.5 inches away. How many actual miles does this represent? Is it A, 28.5 miles, B, 14.25 miles, C, 6.33 miles, or D, just straight up 19? So this is what you do. You come on in, you see, take a look, see if it's something that you can answer. If so, go ahead and put the answer right directly in the comments if I can see them. And then, I know, it's all cray-cray. But if you're not sure what it is, go ahead and put a question mark in. And that's perfectly fine. This is a safe space, so you can open up. All right. So I have a happy and sad cowboy saying it's B. All right, Phil is saying it's D. There's probably some other people that said some answers. If you can repeat those, that would be awesome. We have a smiley face saying it's A with a question mark. Very hesitant. That's okay. Lolo has not sure. Okay, I will take that. Thank you so much for your honesty. All right, thank you, lovely girl, for sharing the live. Yes, if you want to share the live, if you want to bring people into the shenanigans, come on in. The water is warm. All right, so let's take a gander as people are coming in. So as we said, we have 2 inches. So 2 inches is equivalent to 3 miles. And John wants to drive to a point that is 9.5 inches away. So if you want, we can stick with this whole proportion theorem. 9.5 is equivalent to 9.5, if you want to take it that route. And then they want to know how many actual miles will that be represented. So sometimes you can play the trick of like 2 times something will give me this. Or we can do what's called cross multiplication. So if I cross multiplied, I would get my 2x, because proportions we usually solve for cross multiplication. 9.5 times 3, so 5 and 3, that'll give me my 15, carry the 1. 3 and 9, 27, plus 1 will give me 28. And since this is 1 decimal place and that is 0 decimal place, that means I need to have my answer as 1 decimal place. So that means 9.5 times 3 gives me 28.5. Divide both sides by 2. The reason why we're doing that is so we can get x by itself, right? So we're knocking out the 2's. We got our x. So now we're going to divide 28.5 divided by 2. So 2 divided by 2 will give me 1. All right, so right away, C is going to be out because I got a 1 as well as A. All right, 8 divided by 2 will give me 4. So that should automatically give me my answer. We have our decimal point, 5 divided by 2. So we know we got our 2. Gives me a remainder of 1, bringing down to 0. That makes that into a 10. So 10 divided by 2 will give me 5. And 0.25 is equivalent to 1/4. So your answer is B. Okay, all right. Not a problem, not a problem. So we're seeing it, and that's the same thing. You're going to do exactly the same thing. You may only stop at the 14 and say, oh, my answer is B. Once you see your answer, circle it, bubble it, click it, then move on. All right, so let's get to our next one. So a field measures 100 yards by 75 yards. If a person wanted to walk diagonally from one corner of the field to another corner, how far would she walk? Is it A, 100 yards, B, 200 yards, C, 125 yards, or D, 60 yards? Okay, thank you so much for the follows, guys. Dave is saying C at 125. All right. Okay, I know everyone else is like, let me process, let me get it. And I'm like, not a problem. Okay, take your time. All right, Spams has got my 125. Vladimir, welcome back, Vladimir. James, okay, Big Al, how are you, Big Al? Happy New Year to you. Okay, I got you, Big Al. Lisa, all right. Is that Jeanette? Is saying C. Okay, probably are skipping some people because I'm looking on a really small screen. Drew is saying C. Caden is saying C. All right, Daniel, we need to show. And then it disappeared. Okay. Candy Kiss, how are you? Is saying C. Thank you so much for chiming in. Michael saying 125. I see you, Candy Kiss. All right. All right. So let's take a look. Now, I think the person is saying that we do need to show our work. Now, if you ever follow me, you'll probably see a lot of times I do stuff with GED, ASVAB, AccuPlacer, and a lot of the standardized testing. Now, standardized tests, they do not care if you give them extra, all the movement. They just care about getting A, B, C, D. Now, if you're a person that's still in the classroom, totally agree with you. Need to show all your work because then the teachers will kind of know where you're missing and then it'll be easy for correction. Totally get that. But here, I basically do for standardized testing. A lot of people, the whole thing that gets them is the timing. So if we're looking at a field, most fields are usually rectangular in shape. Most of them. All right. So if we're dealing with that, they're saying like 100 yards by 75. But then we're talking about the diagonal. Okay, from here to here. This is what we're missing. Now, if we know anything about rectangles, including squares, all of their angles are 90 degrees. So if I ignore just this part right here, and if I just focus a lot of my attention, let me see if I can get one of my smaller pieces of paper, okay? And we just focus, we have a right triangle. Ooh, every time we have a right triangle, I think a couple of people did pop on here and say, Pythagorean theorem. Yes. Okay, so we can do Pythagorean's theorem. Now, what is Pythagorean's theorem? You have your a squared plus your b squared equals your c squared. So, a and b are the legs of your right triangle. Okay, remember the longest side, the side that's directly across from the 90 degree, that is your hypotenuse. That will always be your C of the equation. But for these two sides, they're interchangeable. They're called your legs. So it doesn't matter which one's the A or which one's the B. It's not going to be wrong. So if you want to make A 100 squared, I know I'm making a lot of math teachers like cringe. Why don't you just put it out in numerical order? Because I don't want to. Being a rebel in the new year. Okay, so now we have to get to our 1,000 squares. Since they're both on the same side, they're basically adding together. We're dealing with larger numbers, larger than what you would normally see. Now, GED, you will see a problem like this, but not such large numbers. Same thing with the ASVAB, because you won't be able to use a calculator. All right? ASVAT, GED, Accuplacer, you're not allowed to use a calculator. SAT, they just started last year with you being able to use the Desmos calculator. But prior to that, you had to use your own. Now, here we go with 100 squared. So 100 squared, that means I'm looking at 4 zeros. So that is going to be a good 10,000. Now, 75 squared, do I have that at the top of my head? No. Did I look this up on the calculator? Yes. Why? Because. All right. Because like I said, I know on the GED and the ASVAT, you're not going to have this of a high number. You'll probably see like a 16 squared, okay, maybe up to 20 squared, okay? So try to keep that in mind. So now I'm going to add 10,000 plus 5,625. So that will give me my 15,625 is equal to x squared. Our x is that hypotenuse squared. Now, the counteract or the inverse of a square is a square root. Now, it shows a lot of promise because it ends in 5. So that means it's either going to be, obviously it's not going to be 5 squared. It's not going to be 25 squared because that's 625. It could be 125 squared, and it is because we have a 125. All because I noticed that that number ends in 5. So the square and the square root, they cancel each other out, bringing down my x. So this is telling me that our distance from this point to this point is going to be 125 yards. Let me see if I can lower that down just a little bit, because I know there's a lot of people like, can I take a picture of that? Sure, why are you screaming? Still can't hear you. All right. If you have questions, go ahead. Yep. Yep, we got that 3, 4, 5. All right. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the follows. Appreciate you guys. All right, so let's get to the next one. Okay, I like to keep things flowing and growing. You know, take a pause after we do like a page or two. So taking a look, Michael owns a consignment shop in which he earns 35% commission on all the items he sells. If Michael, I had to get my thing back. If Michael had $8,434.80 worth of sales in the week, how much was his commission? Is it A, $1,843.30? Is it B, you wish? Is it B, $2,952.18? C, $3,211.14? Or D, $3,343.19? So I have Z is giving me B. Okay, we're wrapping here. Okay. Thank you, Tina, for the follow. Appreciate it. Alex is saying B. Thank you so much, Alex. Okay. Is that Rupi? Is saying B. Z, I got you B. Big Al saying B. Okay. Miguel is saying B. Thomas is saying B. Thank you for the follow. Go, go. We got B. We got Doff with a B. Ariel, is that with a B? Smart guy with a B. Couple more. And if you're not sure, remember, question marks is an option. Okay, Lisa or Lisa Squared is saying B. Lisa Coat Jam. Joy, thank you for your honesty. And hey, how are you? Okay, Liv is saying B. Okay, Michael M saying B or C. Abby, hey, saying B. Done another percentage. Okay, well, let's take a look. So, if we're saying that Michael's going to earn 35% of commission, Okay, this is how much he made. So that means we need 35% of this 8,000. Okay, so we have our 8,434 and 80 cents. 80 cents, that does add up. It adds up. Okay, now 35% as a decimal is 0.35. Okay, now we're going to old school multiply. All right, so we have 5 times 0, that gives me 0. 5 times 8 gives me 40, so 0, carry the 4. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 4 gives me 24, carry the 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 gives me 17, carry the 1. 5 times 4 gives me 20, plus 1 gives me 21, put the 2, carry the 2. And 5 times 8 gives me 40, plus 2 gives me that 42. Ooh, wasn't that fun? So now we're going to be doing the multiplication of 3's. So we have 3 times 0, that gives me 0. 3 times 8 gives me 24, take the 4, carry the 2. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 4 is 14, carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, 0, carry the 1. 4 times 3 gives me 12, plus 1, that gives me 13, carry the 1. And 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 will give me 25. All right, so we have our 0, our 8, 11, carry the 1, 2. 2 and 3 is 5, 4 and 5 is 9, and we got our 2. So once I see the 2 and the 9, right away I know I'm eliminating the A, the C, and the D. My answer should be B. But if I need to continue on, because I know people that are taking GED and ASVAB, will take you up to that 22. You need that goal of 31 plus, right? So if we have 2 spaces here, or 2 decimal places here, 2 decimal places there, when you're multiplying, you're adding how many decimal places you have all together. So 2 plus 2 gives me 4. Starting here, I'm going to move over 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means my decimal place should be between 2 and the 1. So that gives me $2,952, and I have the 18 cents. Because remember, if it's 5 and above, you give it a shove. If it's 4 and below, you leave it alone. And 0 is definitely below 4. Okay? So that means those bad boys are gone, and you just stop right here at the 18. Okay? All right. So as you guys are coming in, something big and wonderful is happening, and it's going to be up and ready by tomorrow. I'm excited. Hopefully you are as well. So just be on the lookout. If you're trying to get your GED, you want to get that new year, new you type of thing, all right, then be on the lookout tomorrow for something that is going to help a lot of you guys. And no more have to spending a lot of money on tutoring. You got me basically at the palm of your hand. Isn't that lovely? So if you guys, I appreciate all of you guys are here. If we can just do a quick mad tap. Can we do a mad tap? To see if we can get these likes up here. Maybe that's why TikTok was acting a little funny for the past couple of days with me. I give up. I give up trying to figure this stuff out. I don't want to admit that I'm old. I feel like I'm seasoned. So if we can get it up to 10K, that will be awesome. And I'll just leave this one up here just so you can go, but I'm going to read over it. Yes. Okay. I'm loving all this. Hello, Vladimir. Lovely to see you again. Okay, thank you for the follow, Cal. Oh, perfect. Thank y'all. All right, the sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers is 171. What are the numbers? Now, we could do elaborate. We can do an elaborate problem with looking at, okay, 3 consecutive odd numbers, right? So the way that they will do it is you will have your first number, then you will multiply by the next number, which is always plus 2, and then you will multiply by the next number, which is plus 4. And you're probably like, how did they get that? Well, let's think about consecutive. Consecutive means right in a row. So let's say 1, 3, and 5, right? So if I want to go from 1 to 3, I would add 2, right? 1 plus 2 gives me 3. If I start at 1 and I want to skip over and go to 5, I would have to add 4. 1 plus 4 will give me 5. That's how they got this pattern. X is going to be the first number. How do you go from the first number to the next number, right? And how I go from the first number to the next digit over. That's how I get this. But we don't need to do this, okay? All of them, first of all, take a quick glance first, because sometimes they do this. Since they're saying 3 consecutive odd numbers, take a quick glance, make sure all of them are odd numbers, which they are. So that's check. If there is an even number, immediately process elimination, gone. But we want to know consecutive odd numbers that equals 171. So let's add them. Yeah, just add them together. So you got your 53, your 55, your 57. All right. So now I have 7 and 3 is 10 plus 5 gives me 15. That's not going to work because this ends in a 1, not a 5. So that's gone. So now we have 55, 57, 59. So we can go with 5 and 7, that gives me 12. And 12 plus 9, that gives me 21. Ooh, I'm intrigued. And I know 3 5s gives me 15, plus 2 gives me 17. That's my answer. Okay? So you don't need to do all the work if you're taking a standardized assessment. Okay? They're not going to say, ooh, let me look at your scrap paper. And let me see if you did some partial. No, they're not. They're just not. Okay? But if you're in class, yes, you need to show all your work. But for GED, ASVAB, AccuPlacer, TEAS test, all that, no. No. Just no. Okay? All right. Will this method work all the time? Yep. Yes, it will, Melly Mel. Okay? Yes, it will. All right. Yes, in DW, you can do it that way as well. But I'm also talking to those people that haven't been in the classroom since they were a fetus, okay? So the simplest that I can do it, it's great that we're going to do the algebra, but I hate to say it, guys, and a lot of people will say, well, why do we need to learn algebra? Nowadays, and I tell the story and I'll tell it over and over again. One of my former students was going after a, what does he call it? A receptionist job. There we go. A receptionist job in a nail bar. And in her interview, they made her do algebraic problems. I cannot make this up. When she called and told me, because I haven't spoken to her in forever, but she found me on Facebook, and that's exactly what happened. So people are using math to do what's called divide and conquer. Okay? So we have to learn to not just be one-dimensional or 2. We got to be 3 and sometimes a little bit and beyond. All right. So we got Rod. Rod smokes 1.5 packs of cigarettes per day. That's all right, Rod. We're going to be all right. So Rod bought cigarettes by the carton. There are 10 packs of carton. This is a problem. This is hilarious. This cracks me up. Rod buys cigarettes by the carton. There are 10 packs of cigarettes in each carton. If Rod pays $35.80 per carton, how much does it cost him for each day of smoking? Is it A, $4.51? B, $4.92, C, $5.03, or D, $5.37. So I got some D's, some D's. It all depends what kind of day he's having. Spoken like a true person. Okay, I followed back with saying B. Okay, Anya, what's that, Marlene? We got some D's, Cecily D, Daniel D. It's, oh, just went away. It said D. Okay, Bliss Fan D, Share D. Okay, Milo. Okay, saying C, user 83, saying B. All right, depends if his wife is nagging him again. Vin. It might be the other way around. Okay. All right. So if we think about it, we can do this one of several ways. Okay, we can do this one of several ways. So since we have 1.5, so we have to figure out one. There's 10 packs in a carton. Okay, a carton is going to cost this much. So if anything, if he's doing 1.5 packs of cigarettes a day, okay, first off, we need to do our little division. So 35.80, if it is being divided by 10. Okay, since I'm dividing by 10, that means I'm taking my 0 away and I'm shifting my decimal point over. Okay, so this is actually going to be 358. Okay, anytime you're dividing by 10, you're basically moving it one, because remember, one decimal place right here, that's your 10th spot, THS at the end. So we're moving it over, making it smaller. So that's where you get your 3.58. Now, this is how much for a pack, but we're talking about a pack and a half. So we're going to take this 358 and we're going to multiply by 1.5. Okay, 0.5 is representing that half. So now, let's get this. So we have 8 times 5, that gives me 40. Put that 0 down, carry the 4. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 4 will give me my 29. Carry that too. 3 and 5, 15, plus 2, that gives me 17. Beautiful thing. All right. I also forgot that we got 2 decimal places here and 1 decimal place there. So we're going to get to that in a moment. Now, we're going to basically do everything by ones. So we got our 8 here, 5 here, and a 3 right there. So now, bring down our 0. Okay, 9 and 18, that's 17. Carry the 1. 7 and 5 is 12 plus 1, that is my 13. Carry the 1. 3, 4, and 5. So, as I mentioned earlier, we got 2 decimal places here. We got 1 decimal place there. That means my answer should be in 3 decimal places. So moving it over, 1, 2, 3. We're looking at $5.37, which our answer choice will be D. Okay, hello, John. How are you? Okay, I know right now a lot of people that are not familiar with me. Hello, my name is Audrey Codner. I am the owner of ACG Math Tutoring. I used to be a classroom teacher for 22 years in the trenches. I used to work in a couple schools in Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Arundel County. Hello, Lex. So what I do now for the last 6 years, I have been doing my own online tutoring business, breaking things down. But I come here on TikTok to basically show you, you can do math, all right? I know when you probably learned it, it was probably rushed. You probably had a teacher that was like, why don't you know this? Or maybe you have that now. But I want you to come on this space to be like, okay, asked your questions. You're no longer that hurt little kid that wanted to get one more example, but everybody wanted to go to recess. And we all know we never want to be that kid. All right? But welcome on in. Hello, Tasty. How are you? All right, quick look. All right, to learn math. Yes, I love that retro. Help them out with that homework because trust me. And here's the thing. Some of the things that I do is what we used to do, I want to say pre-pandemic. Maybe even a little bit further than that. But it just seemed like if it wasn't broke, why fix it? But now, there's a lot of counting of sticks and you just got to sacrifice a chicken, hop on one leg just for you to get the answer of 4. And you're like, but I could have done it this way. But that's not how my teacher does it. Yeah, the new math, I know. But hey, to each your own. This is what we're doing. This is how we're getting stuff done. All right. So the price of daily admission to Wally World, I was just watching that the other day, is $27. They do, however, sell season passes for $175. How many trips would you need to make with the season ticket in order for it to cost less than paying the daily admission rate? Is it A, 6, B, 7, C, 8, or D, 9? I know. I'm waiting for everybody to do the whole thing. Okay. All right, names. Relax. All right, so I got A's, I got B's. Happy New Year, Yvette. How you doing, Lynette? Okay. It's all flashing by. I can't see anything on my computer. I am trying to read as much as I can with my phone. Lynette, it has been a chore for the last couple of days. So we got some A's, we got some B's, we have some follows, we have some A's. Michael, hello, how are you? All right, Nelson with an A, Amari with an A, Tam with an A. I got someone with a B. All right, we got Paul with a B. We have roasted coyote. There you go. All right, Phoenix Queen, how are you? It's been a minute. Okay, Wallace with an A. Isaac with a B. All right, so let's take a look now. So we know the daily price is $27. Okay, so how we're selling season passes like $175. So we want to know how many season tickets, how many trips would you need to make with the season tickets in order for the cost to be less than paying for daily admission. So if I take my 175 and I'm going to try to divide that bad boy by 27. All right, I know there's not enough 27s to go into 17, but how many 27s to go into 175? So I'm going to say 6. 242, that's 12. Yep, 162, I think. So then I know it's going to be more than 6, but it definitely shouldn't be 8 or 9. So let's see if it's going to be 6 or 7. So let's see. We got our 175 minus our 162. This gives us 3. This gives us 1. So I know there's a decimal that's involved. I'm going to bring down a 0. So how many 27s can go into 130? We're looking at roughly 4. But I can't have 0.4 of a ticket, right? Because they want to know how many trips. So I can't say, oh, let me go 0.4 of a trip. No. But if I say 6, I'm going to be short. So I'm going to, in this case, so they want to say how many will the cost be less than. This is going to be closer to 7. It's going to have to be. because they want to know in order for the cost, it's going to be less than paying the daily. So it's going to be B7. Yeah, because we can't have 0.4 of anything. We don't want to say 6 because that's going to kind of jip us a little bit. So having a good 7, that will be for the cost that's less than the daily. All right. Okay. So for our 28, if 8 people can run 16 machines, how many machines can 2 people run? Is it A, 2, B, 14, C, 1, or D, 3? Okay, so Jeff is saying B, Z is saying B, Sugar Plum B, J, 2, Beth Ann B, Papa, and this is where sales you get because maybe you want to go. So J's A, Sugar Plum, I got you. Michelle with a B, Nene with an A, Thomas B, Gigi, how are you? Papa with a 4. Hey Janice, how are you? Okay, I think that's Muhammad. Okay, Colin, Tasty Hope both said A. Z, another Z with 4, 23 said 3, Chosen One said 2, Chosen One, I haven't seen that name in a minute. I am doing. Okay, Anthony with a repost, Queen with an A, Cherry with a B. So we got B's, Cat, Sandy with a 1, Mr. Holy with a 1, Colville with a 4, we got a B, we got an A with Margie. Okay, Jeremy, we got a different Lynette with a C, Investor with a B. Okay, depends on the type of machine. Okay, so let's set it up. So we know 8 people can run 16 machines. So the people is going to be my numerator and the machine is going to be my denominator. So they're asking, how many machines? So we're not sure. Can 2 people run? So if we look at it, we can look at the pattern one or two ways. We could say 8, if I go from here to here, I could say 8 divided by 4 can give me my 2. If I say division, I could say 16 divided by 4 down here. 16 divided by 4, that will give me 4. That's one way of looking at it. Another way is I know that 8/16, that's equivalent to 1/2. So 2 what will be also equivalent to 1/2? Well, 2/4. Okay, so either way, our answer is going to be 4. Another way we can look at it is by actually cross multiplying. If I cross multiply, 8 times x gives me 8x. 16 times 2, that gives me 32. And then I divide both sides by 8. So 32 divided by 8, that will give me 4. So either way, we still get an answer of 4. Okay, we got all 3 ways, and it's a way that's going to be up to you. So sometimes, and that's the one thing that I learned with math, it's all patterns. Once you kind of see a pattern, run with it. Okay, sometimes it may take you a little bit longer, sometimes it might be the quickest way. And I'm telling you from a non-math genius, because I used to suck at math. Growing up, please, put a fraction in front of me, I will cry. Put a word problem in front of me, I would just go comatose. I don't know what I would do. So what grade is this for? I forgot who just answered that because it just flew away. This particular one is for the ASVAB, but it also can be helpful for GED and anyone that's taking the T test or the HESI test, especially if they need help with the algebra portion of it. Now, for T's test and HESI, you guys do a lot of what's called proportions, the conversions, okay? You do a lot of conversions, and my thing is, when you make a mistake, you're killing somebody. So we're trying not to do that. That'll be kind of nice, okay? So really understanding your multiplication facts, really understanding your units of conversions, that's going to be huge if you're thinking about taking the HESI or the TEAS test, okay? Same thing is happening for GED as well as the AccuPlacer, okay? Okay. So Michelle, I don't understand question 27. Okay. So if you're doing your season passes and you're saying the daily passes is 27, you want to divide those two to see how many trips is in a season pass. So if you do 6.4, well, 6.4, it's kind of hard for you to do a 0.4 of a trip. It's almost like you want 6 puppies. You're not going to have 6.4 puppies. That 0.4, just put it away, right? Okay, you want to have 6 whole puppies. So since we want to know how many trips would you need to make the season pass, basically, in order for the season pass to cost less than paying daily, that means I'm going to need not 6 trips, but I'm going to need 7 trips. Because I can't have 0.4 of a trip in order to do that. I'm really sure totally realistic. All right. So 6.4. All right. Because Junie, I think it is, you can't have 0.4 of a trip. Because if you do less, you're shorting yourself. You want to do more so you go past, and then the cost will actually see the difference, not equivalent. Okay. Moving. All right. Okay. So we have 2 more questions. Oops. As soon as I get on here. And I think I don't have to cover it up. I think I can just use it like this. Okay. Not always, Leanne, but in that situation, you had to round up. Okay, Vlad it's cheaper to buy daily tickets. There you go, Vladimir. Thank you. Okay. Nope, you can't have half of a trip, guys. You can't have a half of a... Were you going to get on a roller coaster, put your foot in and say, all right, go? No, you want your whole body in there and you want to enjoy the whole entire ride. You don't want to be like, oh, halfway. Okay, get out. Why are y'all trying to die? Like, that's crazy. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So Sam earns 3 times as much per hour as Bob. Bob earns $2 more per hour than Ginny. As a group, they earn $55 per hour. What's Jeannie's hourly wage? Is it A, $7, B, $8.60, C, $9.40, or D, $10.32? I know they are always, especially for ASVAT, GED, that will have like possibly one of these, but they always have these type of questions. Always. Okay, first off, we got to understand how many people's involved, what's representing what. So we got the chosen one with C, the nurse compared to being a lab tech. Oh, ooh. Okay, we got C, remix. You could, but you don't have to go that far. Use 45 is saying D. The great unknown is saying C. Okay, I see. Hey, good afternoon to you, my dear. Okay, you're saying C, good. Okay, Sammy. How are you, Sammy Boo? You're saying C. Got you. Okay, C. Michael C. Get lucky C. Okay, thanks for the follow. Michelle with a C. Rosette, how are you? Saying C. King, is that King Sanchez? I'm saying 9.40. Okay, so you're saying C. All right. All right, thanks for the follow. So let's take a look. All right. So we got 3 people that's involved here. So right now, we don't know anything about Jenny. So Jenny, we're going to say you're my ex. Not going to keep doing this. So this is Jenny hourly wage. Or Jeannie, sorry. Like I dream of. All right, so now we have Bob and we have Sam. Well, the one thing that we know, that Bob earns $2 more an hour than Jenny. Notice I'm going in reverse. Sometimes that helps with these type of problems. Like they give us the question, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to say, all right, Jeannie, don't know, she's my ex. Who's the next person? It's Bob. Well, Bob earns $2 more an hour than Jeannie. All right, so that will be Jeannie plus 2. Now we're coming back into the original sentence. So we have Sam earns 3 times as much an hour as Bob. Well, so we know what Bob is, so we go 3 parenthesis x plus 2. So now we have a representation for all 3. Jeannie, x, Bob, x plus 2, Sam 3 times x plus 2. And the last part that they gave us is that as a group, they all earned $55 per hour. So right now, this is everyone's hourly wage. So we're going to add these bad boys up. Let me go switch over here. So we got our x, we have our x plus 2, we have our 3 times x plus 2, and it's going to equal 55. Okay? So now, distributive property. If you want to do a little combining, we could say, all right, we got 2x plus 2 plus, when we distribute the 3 to the x, that gives me 3x. We distribute the 3 to the 2, that gives me a positive 6, equals 55. So now let's combine like terms again. So we got 2x plus 3x, that gives me 5x. 2 plus 6, that gives me 8. And it equals 55. All right, so now I'm going to subtract my 8 because I want to, the ultimate goal is to solve for x. So now we got our 55 minus 8, borrow from the 5, make that into a 4. Now make that 5 into a 15. So 15 minus 8, that will give me 7. So let's divide both sides by 5. So how many 5s can go into 4? None. How many 5s can go into 47? 9. So that would be a 45 with a 2 as a remainder. So if I put a decimal and a 0, that would, 2 will be a 20. How many 5s can go into 20? 4. So we're saying x is equal to 9.4. And x was Jeannie. So what Jeannie makes is $9.40. Let me shrink a little bit. Yep. So I feel like the best way to do these type of problems is not start off what's happening in the beginning. It always ends up with a person at the end. Start with, I don't know who Jeannie is. Well, Jeannie's going to be your X. Now go up to the next one. All right, Bob earns $2 more per hour than Jeannie. Well, then that's going to be X plus 2. Then you go to the first equation and figure out, well, Sam earns 3 times as much as Bob. Well, we figured out what Bob was. Just multiply it by 3. Okay? So that's what we got for that one. All right. Now, sliding over to our last one. Yes, our last one. I tried to come on for about an hour because I got other things I got to tweak, something called life, and maybe even get a little bit of dinner. All right, awesome. So, a bricklayer charges $12 per square foot to lay a patio. How much would it cost for the bricklayer to lay a 10 by 16 foot patio? Is it A, $960, B, $192, C, $224, or D, $1,920? I got NATO's with A. Papa T is saying D. Okay, Christian with the B. Couple with the follows. Thank you so much for the follows. Appreciate it. Shannon with a D. Of Kira. Rosette with a D. Chosen One with a D. Cash King. Sammy Boo. Malik. Hillary. Kayla. All with D's. L with a D. NATO. Got you. Lamar, Big Al with the D's. Okay, Christian, I got you. Parker, Kelly, got Lamar, I got you. Icy, all with the D's. Okay, there's no holding back with everyone here. Annie with a C. Vladimir with a D. Okay, we got a D. Time to hire him for B. Right? Exactly. Get him when you got. Can you solve now? I got you, Parker. Just give me one moment. Let me see if I can get one person that didn't repeat themselves. There's Precious. Thank you, Precious. There you go, Sunset. Thank you with the D. Now, here we go. We need to find the area. So since we have that 10 by 16, the area of this space, we're just basically multiplying 10 and 16. And if you're multiplying by 10, you're basically taking the number that you're multiplying and just adding a 0. That's how we get our 160. But they are charging $12 per square foot. This is our square feet right here. So if they are charging $12 for that, let's multiply this by 12. And let's have fun. So 2 times 0, that gives me 0. 2 times 6 is 12, carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And then we got 1 being multiplied by that 160, so that just goes underneath. And then let's add up. We have our 0, we have our 2, 3 and 6, that gives me 9. Carry down my 1. So we got 1920, and that is what the answer D is, 1920. All right. Fabulous. Love it, and love it. What book is this from? It's actually online. I'm telling you guys, like, there's some stuff out there. It actually is from, it says at the very top, AFQT Practice Exams. Okay? So that is also there. Now, you're always coming in late. It's all right. So if anything, tomorrow you're going to be seeing the latest and the greatest. I'm actually probably going to come on maybe just showing some of my work or just talking about it. But because unfortunately, everything is not ready. But that's life. That's okay. But again, if you are in need of, say, a tutor, if you're in need of someone to break down concepts, you can continue on coming here. I don't know how I can update my other channel, which I'm going to say this, but you can at least get, if you need some extra assistance, you can at least go here for all of my replays. The last few ones, like I said yesterday, I got blocked out of TikTok, so I couldn't upload anything or come live. And same thing was happening. I think New Year's Eve. I wasn't able to upload what we did on Wednesday. So, but everything from Tuesday up, from February 2nd, is available here. Okay, so again, free subscription. You can go here, type in that, and you'll be all set. Hey, Tilted Halo, how are you? All right. Oh, so much with the gifts. So much. So if you do need assistance, I do go through some problems like this, but I also go through some individual stuff. So if you need some assistance with factoring, if you need some assistance with breaking down fractions, basic concepts, I do it there. So at least you can go through that. But if you need more deep down dive, thank you so much. With a lot of this stuff, hey, keep coming to the lives. You're actually going to see the update of something that is going to be helpful for anybody, any kind of algebra. I have looked at so many different workbooks and sites and everything, and this is just a little bit different, just a little bit. So if anything, if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me a message. I always look at the requested messages as well. So, and if you have any questions, that's where you can go. Or if my Service Plus is still there, because I have no idea, I'm going blind right now, go ahead and click on the Service Plus, and then you can message me that way as well. Okay? All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and attention. This was the best hour that I've had all day. Thank you. Okay, get a picture of question 29. Sure, there you go. I know. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Did you get it, Kes? Okay. You're so welcome. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, make sure you guys are enjoying it because I know it's so easy to get back into the rat race. Someone just asked for 26. It's easy for you to get right back into the rat race, and but give yourself some rest before you really jump in fully, okay? Especially this weekend. You all know you've been running around like a crazy people trying to get gifts and this wrapped and that for dinner, and oh my God, I need the nutmeg, and you're losing your blessed mind. All right, so that's all we gotta do, okay? All right, have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye.